The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
And welcome into the Exist Stretch Studios. Welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. We are thrilled to have you along with us. We had Trisha Rhodes on yesterday from Exist Stretch, and we keep telling you that your first stretch is absolutely free. And so I'm hoping you've heard that, and I hope you have had a chance to get in. If not, be sure to spread that to the community. Every single person, get in there, get stretched, and you'll see firsthand how it will change you. There are two locations, by the way, in our area. One is in St. Louis Hills at 5605 Hampton. The other is in the Arnold area inside of Exist Fitness. So an opportunity for you to get an incredible workout, as well the wellness side of maybe going into cryotherapy or maybe red light therapy, hydro massage beds. Maybe you get tanned, or like me, you'd rather get spray tanned. They've got all that for you at Exist Fitness. And then right in the right-hand corner is where the stretch studio is. I'm going to be going again tomorrow, and I'm documenting my own change. I want you to get in as well. I don't care if you're an athlete, if you are young, or if you are a senior. Everyone can benefit from this. Again, Exist Stretch. Thank you so much for coming on board. That's right. We are unlocking your body, the power of professional stretching. Assisted stretching, way different than you trying to stretch on your own. Well, good morning on this Thursday. I hope you're having a great start to your day. We are going to talk about the incredible care at Garden View Care Centers. And we're going to talk about how they're very, very different. The activity side, the empathy. You feel that as soon as you walk in the doors. You know, my mom back on January 19th fell and broke her femur. Scary time. I think a lot of you have gone through this. She was in the hospital. And then at that point, it was going to be 2 to 3 weeks before she came back to our care and then eventually back to her home. Where was she going to go? We chose the one in Chesterfield, Garden View Care Center in Chesterfield. And again, at that point, you're just nervous. Are they going to be able to take care of your loved one the way you would? Well, the answer was absolutely yes. And now we have teamed up with Garden View, so more and more of you can understand the sigh of relief when you realize mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, your spouse, your child, they're in great hands. We're going to talk today with Alisa Santangelo. She will be our guest coming up after our news you can use. And we started off with weather. Beautiful. Did you get outside yesterday? It was absolutely gorgeous. More of that, please. Let's find out. Today, you got it. You've got 68 degrees as far as temperature. It's nice, but we do have a chance, 40% chance at least, of an afternoon shower. So a high of 68 down to 45 tonight. And then look at the Cardinals coming into town Friday through Wednesday of next week. 62 and absolutely beautiful to go to the ballpark tomorrow. Saturday, 61 for the Kentucky Derby parties. Sunday, 30% chance of night rain with a high of 75. And then we do have chances, a little bit more as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. 78 for a high on Monday, 76 Tuesday, Wednesday, 70. Thursday and Friday and Saturday of next week in the upper 60s to low to mid 70s. So not bad at all. This is exactly what we would expect as we are into spring. But can you believe tomorrow is already May? What the heck has been happening to 2026 already? We are almost halfway through the year, which is crazy. We're almost getting ready to say that summer is going to start. Slow down, right? Slow down. The kids are almost going to be out of school and then back in your care. All right, let's talk about heading out this morning. We are based in St. Louis, Missouri, so I like to do some local news if it's affecting our drivers, and it will this morning. There is a water main break. This is actually breaking from overnight. For those of you that are in the Maryland Heights area, intersection of Meadow Park Court and Villager Park Court in the Maryland Heights area. In fact, our friends over at KMOV actually arrived to the scene before the officials did. So if you are anywhere near Meadow Park Court, and Villager Park Court, that has all filled with water due to a water main break that's caused that intersection to fill with water. In fact, one of the pictures, a little eerie looking, and it's exactly what I saw when I was moving through Fenton this morning. There was all of this cloud, this ground fog, and then up in the air and some of the trees, it was just kind of lingering there. So I don't know if any of you got up early and you saw that, but that's what we were experiencing this morning. A little bit of humidity and moisture in the air with temperatures just in the low to mid 40s, causing a little bit of that this morning. All right. Our next story is very scary, and you send your kids off to school. You hope that everything's going to be safe. Well, this is what played out yesterday on the Illinois side. Bus with students inside overturned near Carrollton, Illinois. The crash happened just before 3:45 on 67 near Carrollton on a stretch of road known as the Heinold Curve. Police say a bus belonging to Green School District Number 3 was going north when a car going south crossed the center line. The bus driver drove onto the shoulder to avoid the car, but then left the road, hit a ditch embankment, and overturned. Scary situation. One student was extricated by the fire department in Carrollton. Everyone else on board was able to exit the bus on their own. 11 students and one staff member were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities did not say the ages of the students who were on the bus, but all lanes of Highway 67 were closed until 8 o'clock last night. And again, hoping that that one student that was taken to the hospital is going to be okay. Scary situation for sure. And then, of course, we were talking about the weather the other day. Some of you had hail. Some of you possibly experienced the tornadoes. There were 3 that were reported to have touched down on the Illinois side. But this is sad news. It's not at the St. Louis Zoo, but it is a zoo in the Missouri area. An animal was killed and another injured in that hailstorm. The storm hit the Dickerson Park Zoo on the north side of Springfield, Missouri, about 11 o'clock that morning. And the Missouri Zoo reported that one animal died, another was injured following that hailstorm. A 21-year-old emu named Adam died in the storm, and a male ray, which resembles a small ostrich, is under veterinary care. A zoo spokeswoman said no other animals were injured. All the staff and the guests were okay. The storm damaged the roofs of many of the zoo buildings. Now, the last I looked from the social media post was that the zoo was closed through yesterday. If you know someone that is in that area and was thinking of going today, because again, should be a nice weather day, have them check maybe social media to see if it is opening back up, because again, it was closed on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, before we went on the air this morning, I asked Zach, and now I'll ask all of you, have you ever been on one of those e-bikes? First of all, I think it's silly because biking is supposed to be manual. I don't get it. The e-bikes don't make any sense to me. But now they're cracking down, not in Missouri, but in California, and maybe it'll be a trickle-down effect. Officials issuing a consumer alert to crack down on the misuse of those. There is a California Attorney General that said other Bay Area district attorneys issued the consumer alert to, quote, remind manufacturers, retailers, consumers, and parents that California has important safety laws regarding the sale and the use of electric bicycles, also known as e-bikes. They said the state is seeing a surge of safety incidents on sidewalks, in parks, on streets related to those. So biker riders and parents, they say if you or your teen's electric two-wheeled vehicle goes too fast, it might be a motorcycle or a moped, not an e-bike. The speed limit is 28 miles per hour for those class 3 e-bikes. If they go over that, they are considered e-motos. According to a study by the University of California, San Francisco, rider injuries from these bikes nearly doubled each year from 2017 to 2022. And I'm just going to stop there for a second and tell you, I didn't even realize they were around in 2017. But yes, be smart. And again, what we're seeing in California could have a trickle-down effect here in the state of Missouri. Well, we're going to talk about our senior care this morning. And I saw this in the Investigate TV information this morning from a health standpoint. Understanding hospice care, what patients and families need to know. Common misconceptions. Dr. David Fisher, a medical director for Duke Home Care and Hospice in Durham, North Carolina, while he's saying that he didn't treat a particular patient, he said a majority of the time hospice comes to a patient's home, the team won't move in, their loved ones remain the primary caregivers. Another misconception that he hears is that someone has to be in the last weeks or days of their life to be eligible, and this is with regards to what you need to know for benefits. A study finds 1/3 of older adults know little about their hospice benefits and their coverage options. For patients with a terminal diagnosis who no longer want life-prolonging treatments, hospice can provide the support, the spiritual guidance, and the pain relief. So I think this is a really interesting article that I want you to read a little bit more about. So I'm going to drop it in the comment section for you right now so you can see that. Again, 32% of adults age 50 plus know very little about it. And I think it's something that's important for organization, but also if you are in your older years and you're just wondering, what am I, what's covering, etc. Okay, closer to home, Clementines, but there's a a lot of people actually outside of our area that get this as well. Clementine's has some new flavors coming your way. 4 new flavors, in fact, inspired by Route 66, and they are Dr. Dirty Soda, Bold Spice, Velvety Sweet Cream, Pretzel Cookie Dough, that sounds good, Malted Ice Cream with layers of salty pretzel crunch and cookie dough bites, Milkshake Fries, Chocolate Ice Cream packed with chocolate-covered potato chips, I don't know about that one, Cherry Slush, a juicy, sweet, and crisp sorbet. So they are doing this as they reimagine some classic summer flavors in honor of the 100th anniversary of Route 66. The flavors will be released across all the company's creameries coming up on May 5th. So 100 years for Route 66, and it's just crazy, right? I just love to think of all the history with that, and now they're playing off of that with the ice cream. Okay, Ted Lasso fans, and I am right there with you. A new trailer has been dropped for season 4, and when is the premiere date? I'm so excited for this. I actually jumped on the bandwagon of Ted Lasso a little late, but now I'm all on board with all of you. All right, you ready for the trailer?
When you can't win for losing, and the beggars start choosing the chaos in your head, it calls the cracks to start showing, all knowing, all glowing with the light of.
Welcome back, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Too bad you're coaching a bunch of girls, you old wanker.
FYI, the ETA is ASAP, PP. As soon as possible, pretty please.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Girls, and it has a tie, by the way, to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri at that. A lot of people were saying that they were seeing them film some of that, and people were actually traveling into Kansas City just to catch a glimpse of it. So Apple TV releasing that trailer. Are you excited? Are you a Ted Lasso fan? If so, drop it in the comments for me. All right, golfers, this is some exciting news for you. Tickets going on sale for the 2026 Stifel Charity Classic. The event formerly known as the Ascension Charity Classic will be held October 19th through the 25th at Norwood Hills Country Club. First event in the Charles Schwab Cup playoff on the Champions Tour. Tickets for this year's Stifel Charity Classic have gone on sale already. Tickets begin as low as $10 for the first round, and passes for the final round are only $20. So a great opportunity for you. All right, the Cardinals have announced their first headliner in their post-game concert series. Country music star Jordan Davis will perform after the Cards take on the Cubs May 29th. His song Buy Dirt was nominated for the Country Song of the Year. By the way, that game will be broadcast live on KMOV and Matrix Midwest. The post-game concert is included with your game ticket. However, VIP passes will also be sold to allow someone to watch it from the field. Speaking of the Cardinals, the Cards and the Pirates will play at 11:35 this morning. Yesterday, the Cards beat the Pirates. The final was 5-4. All right, and in our National Day of calendar, have you tried bubble tea yet? You need to. Today is National Bubble Tea Day, so maybe today's the day you do so. National Adopt a Shelter Pet Day, National Hairstylist Appreciation Day, so I appreciate my girl, Shear Studios down in Chesterfield. National Honesty Day, National Prepare-a-thon Day, it's National Bugs Bunny Day. Oh, I loved Bugs Bunny growing up. National Sarcoidosis Day, National Oatmeal Cookie Day, Military Brats Day, and it is National Raisin Day. A lot of things going on today, by the way. And let me take a moment and congratulate Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. I was driving in this morning and I saw a post that said that Ritz was adopted. For those of you that know, in our immediate area, Ritz had been there for over 400 days. I am so excited for you guys, so excited for Ritz, and so excited for the care and the patience that they had, because they said he had some naughty behaviors when they first got him when he was just a puppy, and then they taught him to behave and now get his forever home. So way to go. And we'll be back with Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue for Positive Talk Time in just a couple of weeks. All right, folks, that's how we do it. In the first 15 minutes of the show, we get you all up to date in what we think is some news you can use and things I think you'd like to know about. Now we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about empathy, activities, fun. Don't you want to go into a place where you enjoy what you're doing and then know that you're making a difference? Well, that's what they're doing at Garden View Care Centers, and there's 3 locations. We're going to talk today about the Dougherty Ferry location with Alisa Santangelo. She's my guest when we return.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
And welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll get to some of your comments, and I'm seeing all of you. Good morning. Yes, it is a beautiful start to the day. Hope you're having a great one. And if not, we hope we can change things around for you. You know, we teamed up with Garden View Care Centers just within the last few weeks, and we've been telling you 3 locations in the area. I know a lot of you sometimes are kind of last minute. Others of you are crazy organized. I would like for all of us to lean more on the organization side, because when something happens and then you're saying, oh, I've got to get my loved ones into a facility where someone can take care of them, you don't want to be waiting to the last second, right? So take the tour. Maybe O'Fallon, Missouri makes sense to you. Maybe it's Chesterfield, or maybe it is the Dougherty Ferry location. Just go in and walk around, meet the staff, know how the care would be for maybe you, maybe a spouse, a child, again, parents, grandparents, loved ones, gardenviewcares.com. And we have been talking about how the care was for my mother. And again, from my heart, I keep saying I cannot thank them enough. And that really is what spun off conversations of, we want more and more of you to know about the incredible care that they're doing at Garden View. Well, one of the women who knows all about it is Alisa Santangelo, who is at the Dougherty Ferry location. Thank you so much for being a part of us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
So how long have you been there?
I've been with Garden View for over 3 years, but I've been in long-term care for over 11 years.
Yes, I saw you. It was like, it's interesting to have someone who's in high school that has a little touch of it and then decides to go and get her master's in it.
Yep. I started in dietary at an independent living facility, and then was in activities, then the social worker, then the administrator.
Fantastic. So getting into it early, and that's quite a responsibility for someone who's in high school to be around. What did you see at that point where you were bit by the bug and knew you wanted to do this?
I think I just really connected with the elderly, and I just felt it was almost like a calling. You know, I felt kind of called to serve them. Obviously, dietary is different than being the administrator, but
it's a whole, as you know, it's a whole team aspect, and every single solitary aspect of that matters.
Takes every department for sure.
Yeah. So as you went along, and then you finally get a chance to get to Garden View, I want you to tell everybody, because I've been saying it for the last few weeks, but there's truly another level of Garden View. What stands out in your mind of the care that you all provide?
I think it's the staff. I think it's our small size of our facility. It gives us the chance to know all of the staff, and I think the happier your staff are, the better care you're going to provide. And so just getting to know all of the staff and knowing their personal stories and their families gives me more trust in them to be able to care for the residents as they would their own families.
Well, and Alisa, that's very true, because there are many people that when you are making that decision, and it's a big decision, as you know, and we're going to talk about that today, you don't want your loved one to just get lost and just be a number. It's the fact that you walk in, you know everybody's names, and you know all about them. You know their family. You know their sons and daughters that are coming to visit. And that would be hard when you have a huge facility where you're like, I don't know, who is that?
Right.
Right?
Yep. So we have about 80 residents, give or take. And I can honestly say, like, I know how some of them take their coffee, when I'm rounding in the morning. And sometimes the staff will do their hair up special and show them off to everybody. And it's just really special.
Yeah, that was the thing that I really enjoyed. So, we knew nothing about Garden View until we were there. And then it was my mom being there for a couple of weeks, and they were like, oh, activities. And we're going to get into activities today. There's so many activities that they can do. And she can go get her nails done.
Right.
She can get her hair done while she's here, because you really do want to keep them active.
Definitely. Keeping them engaged, out of their rooms, interacting with each other, interacting with the staff. We have, different activities across the board to try to meet all of their needs and their interests. Little women's clubs, men's clubs, spending a lot of time outside in our beautiful courtyards, especially with the sunshine coming out now. For sure.
They enjoy that, and we've got the first day of summer that will be here. I cannot believe that in just a month's time. We'll be celebrating Memorial Day, which is nuts. But I mentioned that last time when Mary Ann was on with us, and I said, you look at the outside view coming into the facility, and it looks so beautiful and so manicured and so landscaped. And I said, do they get an opportunity to actually go out and tend that?
Definitely. We actually took advantage of the sunshine last week. It was National Picnic Day.
Oh, very cool.
And so we had a staff potluck mixed with a resident lunch outside, and the residents loved it, sitting outside in the sunshine and getting to have lunch out there. Change of scenery, and they love the sunshine.
Well, and this is the thing that I want all of you to understand, because when your, again, I say mother, father, any loved one is going in the facility, you want to know, are they actually enjoying their time? Beyond the fact that, they're sick and maybe they're recovering from an injury, they're being taken care of, but they're enjoying life, that they're not just stuck in a room. Because,
Absolutely.
We mentioned this to Mary Ann last time. There's that old school mindset, Alisa, of a nursing home and having everyone in wheelchairs and just sitting there, and everyone would walk through the halls and think, oh, that's so depressing. That is not the feel at all when you walk into Garden View. It is not a depressing feeling. Instead, you can feel the empathy. We're going to use that word a lot in today's show. The empathy as well as the true love.
For sure. It's that's a bad stigma that nursing homes have.
Right? Yeah.
But I think if you have dedicated staff that have empathy, then your residents are always going to be happy.
Sure. And I mentioned earlier that you want to be able to wake up in the morning and love what you're getting ready to go do, and you're excited and you look forward to it. And that's the one thing that people, if they think of, a nursing home or skilled nursing facility, assisted care, they're going to be like, okay, are you excited to get ready to get it? Your answer is yes, because you're in a healing field.
Yeah, a lot of times people obviously nobody wants to come to a nursing facility, but if it's somebody that's home alone versus coming to a nursing facility, there's so many differences. You're home alone in your house in your four corners versus being in a place where there are a lot of other folks like you, and there's a lot of engagement and opportunities for relationships to be built and just having people brighten your day.
Well, and the socialization aspect, I have to stress, is so very important, because we had the decision to transfer Mom back into our care. And we went back and forth like a few weeks at a time between myself and my older brother. And then it was, okay, I know Mom's really independent. And you all feel me on this? You have a parent, they're like, I can do this. I want to get back. And then you're scared and you're like, okay, what can we do? Maybe we seek out somebody that can be there for them for a few days. But when they're sitting at home, they're missing out on what they're getting at a place like Garden View, because when they're there, not only are they being cared for from maybe the medical side, but they're interacting with their peers. They're going and they're involved. Let's get a little bit deeper into some of these activities. That's what I feel is missing. I mean, I want my mom to have her independence, but we've got cameras at our house, and we'll check in from time to time. I'm like, she's just sitting watching TV.
Right.
And this is what I want you all to listen to this morning. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Garden View Care Centers, and Alisa is at the one in Dougherty Ferry. So let's talk about the activities, from the socialization, which helps the mind and the spirit. What do you love when you see them interacting? What are some of your favorite activities that you offer?
So we obviously have the scheduled activities, whether that be beadwork or painting. We're doing sun catchers, but we also have little individual residents that get together. I have 3 ladies that play cards every evening after dinner, and they're always interacting. And if we have new residents that come in, they'll invite them to join. I have one gentleman that you'll always find him in one of our rooms doing a puzzle. So there's always something going on. And in the main dining room, if you are new coming into the facility, we'll always pair you up with a group of residents that is similar to you. Maybe you have similar interests. And we've also found that people end up knowing each other from years ago. Like we lived down the street from each other, or our kids went to school together. And so then they're finding their own connection that way too.
Yeah, and it's friendships. I mean, how many of us, from whether you've got young kids and you are hoping, as Alisa just mentioned, where you all bond together and nobody's left out.
Right.
You know, when my mom first came in, I was like, okay, we're taking her in for lunch that day, or I think it was dinner that night. And, you know, my brother's like, way to go. How did mom find friends already? I'm like, well, first of all, she's crazy bubbly and everybody fell in love with her. But you are looking for, where do I go in the dining room?
Right.
These people have been here already. Am I welcomed? And the answer is yes. Not beyond the staff, the people, the residents that are there, they're all warm and welcoming. And the comment I heard, and again, we were down in the Chesterfield one, but the comment I heard right away was how much, and that's what you want to hear, right? There's one thing for faculty because they're working there, but when the residents are the ones saying, oh, it's amazing here. We've been here. I you know, the one lady said, my husband was originally here, so I came, and then her husband had passed, and then she's there now. But it was from their hearts saying, we are taken care of. The food here is incredible.
Right.
I mean, there's many levels of that you're not thinking of. The food's good. The activities are great. These people love us.
Yeah.
That has to warm your heart.
For sure. That's like one of the nicest compliments. If you have, you know, we had a son that his mom moved in, and then they loved it so much that his wife's mom moved in. So then you have like two mother-in-laws together. And the residents do look out for each other. You know, they're at the picnic. I know I was talking about that, but one resident was like, make sure, you know, so-and-so's food's cut up. She has a hard time. So they're always looking out for each other, and they have their own, you know, relationship and bond just as the staff do with them.
And can you talk a little bit more about the food? Because that was the one thing. People might think, oh, we're going to go into these facilities. It's not going to be very good. You take great pride in the food you're providing.
Absolutely. Our chef is Josh, and he has a ton of experience in restaurants and things like that, but he really makes sure the residents have high quality meals. They're followed by a dietitian and all of that stuff.
Sure.
But we also have our resident council meeting, so we get recommendations from the residents of what they want to try, what they don't really want on the menu anymore, things of that nature. But we have a ton of variety, and a lot of the staff, you know, I can say I've eaten the food too. A lot of the staff like the food, so I think that, you know, that goes a long way to say if we're eating it, then it's got to be good.
That speaks,
you know?
absolutely, Lisa, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I'll agree. I was sitting there going, oh, Mom, look what you get a chance to try. I'd like some,
For
but
sure.
never mind, you eat.
For sure.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Garden View Care Centers. And again, 3 locations, Chesterfield, O'Fallon. The one that Alisa is at is the Dougherty Ferry location. I mentioned it earlier, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to talk about the importance of not waiting to the last second.
Absolutely.
And getting in for the tour, and then what the tour looks like for everybody. If you have any questions, by the way, or if you have a loved one that's at Garden View, I'd love for you to drop a comment in. I had a lot of you the last time. There was a woman actually watching from Florida, and she's like, I felt like it was a God wink, Monica. Here I was trying to get to my siblings, making a decision because her father had fallen and broken his femur like my mom did, and she's like, you solidified that was the right place for us. And I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, that really gave me chills. So I'd love for the same to be for you. If you're lost right now and you're wondering what to do, Alisa's going to talk about the tour aspect when we return. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you that are just watching the show, again, you might say, wow, I would love to have another story like what we had a few weeks ago of, wow, I was meant to listen today because this is what I needed to know. So Alisa Santangelo, she's from the Garden View Care Centers in the Dougherty Ferry area. Have you been at Dougherty Ferry the entire time?
I have.
So is there a difference? Because I've only been to Chesterfield, and this is what I want to know about from a tour standpoint. And eventually I would love to be able to do kind of a 3D walkthrough tour. We're talking about that, where we can see each one of the facilities. How do they differ?
So layout wise and building wise, they differ, but the care should be standard throughout all three locations, and the staff, I think it starts at the top. So administration, instilling that in their staff. So I would say the care should be comparable. Obviously, the building layout and aesthetics would be different. But
it's funny because we were talking with your team, and they said that people that are familiar with that area, right around again, Dougherty Ferry, Big Ben, that they think that location is a bank.
They do. It sits kind of far back. A lot of people miss it. We always say, you know where the McDonald's is, and then they know right across from the bowling alley. But it does, from the outside, it doesn't look as big.
Right.
And then when you walk in, we have the high ceilings, and it's very home-like and warm and welcoming, and just a beautiful place.
Well, and so let's talk about the tour aspect, because this is what, as you're watching this morning, the importance of doing this early. I'm sure a lot of people, just like a will or a trust, they put it off, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do that. You don't want to be in that case. When it comes time, you don't want to have to be making all those decisions, right? It doesn't make them rest a little bit easier if they know, we already did this. We have mom, dad, et cetera, on a list.
Definitely. So depending on your situation, if you're coming from the hospital, as you know, you get like 48-hour notice. So it's hard to tour and find the right place and feel confident in that decision.
Right.
But if you are just trying to plan ahead, I would absolutely encourage you to tour many facilities so that you can compare and see. But yeah, touring would give you eyes and ears on the facility, the staff. If you encourage you to come during a meal to see how our meal service is going on, or on a Friday afternoon where we're having our musical entertainment and our happy hour, just to see how happy the residents are, coming at a time where there is something going on, engaging, interaction, maybe observing like a therapy session just to see what your loved one is going to be experiencing when they're there.
Yep, very good point, because there's so many things that are happening, and you're wondering that, right? When you all of a sudden say, okay, whether it is for a short time period or this is where they're going to end up living, you want to know every level of that.
Definitely.
You mentioned earlier the activities, and again, we talked about playing cards. Mahjong, I'm sure, is probably very big there.
Sure.
It's gotten big, though, bigger than I could ever imagine. I used to train seniors, and I would always come up and they would be like, oh, Monica, you should sit down and play Mahjong with me. My mindset was, that's something for the older generation. No, but now we're seeing grandmas and grandchildren playing together.
I'm not even certain what card games these ladies play. I don't know if it's bridge, it's King's Corner.
What's that?
I don't know. Like, I'm not sure, but they're playing games that I don't even know. It's really insane to watch them play, because they get it. Like, they're dealing out the cards. They know. They'll teach the other folks how to play. And it's something great for them to do, to be able to, commiserate and pass the time. And
they're serious about it, by the way.
Absolutely.
So again, this is just one of the many activities that they can do. But what about actual field trips, like taking them from the facility? What have you seen that's been really impactful?
So we actually have something coming up in June. Cool. We're going to be going to Jazz at the Bistro.
Oh, very cool.
So we're going to get to take a good handful of residents, and they're going to get to see a show and have lunch, and it's going to be a great outing.
Again, getting a chance to get out. We all remember when we were kids, and you're like, oh, we have a field trip day, right? It's just this change of scenery.
Definitely.
Have they been out to like Cardinals games and things like that?
They haven't. COVID kind of I know it's been a few years since COVID now, but that kind of put a little speed bump in our way, but we're hoping to get back out there with this Jazz at the Bistro, kind of being the kickoff to some more outings.
Oh, that's fantastic. And again, music is a big part. I know the one in Chesterfield has a piano, and I've seen some people play. Do they have a piano at each one of them?
We don't have a piano.
Oh, you need a piano.
Yeah, we are very blessed. One of our activity assistants, so one of our employees, his name's Bob, and he sings. And so the residents love him. He sings almost every afternoon that he's there, always on a Friday afternoon, and he does a wide range of styles and decades, and they absolutely love him. We've actually tried to hire in other folks to come for
They don't
special
want anybody
events.
else.
No, the residents are like, can we just have Bob? Like, who is this person? So they love him. He really makes their day.
And then, one of the things that I think is also very important is movement of the body. So you're also very big in making sure that there is some type of a workout class that they're doing.
Right.
And
So
those are very well attended.
Absolutely. We have a vitality and motion class, which is kind of like chair ballet, but it's kind of chair exercise. We have a Tai Chi class, and then our restorative therapy program has expanded. It used to be kind of one-on-one sessions, but our restorative therapist now, you can go out there and she'll have a group of 10 plus residents doing exercises, and people look forward to it. It's after lunch. Do you want to go back to your room? Nope, I'm staying up here for the exercise.
Right.
And they really look forward to it.
And I want to commend you as well. One of the things that my mom was really excited about, so they give them all these, calendars of here's what's going on for the week or here's what's going on for the month, so they know food-wise what's going to take place, what the special of the day is, and then the activities that are taking place so they can get excited about it. My mom loved the fact that you all brought faith into it. And there was a Bible reading or there was a rosary class, I think is what it was.
Yep,
Do they do that at all of them?
Yeah, so we have a religious service on Sundays. We have a Catholic mass that we offer once a week. And then too, if anybody would want to have a clergyman or somebody come, we are connected with a local parish that we can always call and they can come out. We also have a lot of chaplains through some of the hospice agencies that come out and can spend some time with the residents.
Absolutely. Again, we're talking about Garden View Care Centers and so many levels of the care. The care is actually in the name, and it's a whole nother level. And again, there's a lot of great facilities in our area. My heart is just connected because of the care that I saw from, you didn't get a chance to meet my mom.
I didn't. I
Have
saw
they-
the videos though. She
Oh,
looks
okay.
lovely.
Yeah. Now here's what we've talked about, that when you're there, and maybe to brighten up someone's day that's still there, we've talked about bringing her back. My idea during National Nurses Week, which is coming up the second week of May, we're going to actually be at the Chesterfield location doing a shoot so you can see more inside of what it's all about. We're thinking of bringing Mom back.
I love that. And I think there's probably some folks there that will remember her.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be rewarding for the staff to see that, look how well she's doing.
Correct.
But also for the residents there to be like, oh, she came back to visit me.
Because
you know?
Alisa, they actually told her, there she was, by the way, inundated with flowers.
Yep.
I'm serious on this. A lot of them said as she was leaving, oh, you're leaving already, because she was
Right.
there for only 2 weeks,
Right.
but made an impact. And they made an impact on her. I asked her, I'm like, do you remember the people you were at lunch with? Oh, yeah, Brad,
Right.
Jackie. And she's
Yep.
naming all these names. And then she was talking about the food. She was talking about the care. She was very big on making sure that every single person that took care of her, what is your name? She wanted to thank them by name because that meant something, right? If they didn't take good care of her, she would just be like, let them take care and then let them leave.
Right.
It was so cute. She was always saying, hey, I just want to tell you, so-and-so did a phenomenal job. Oh, I love them. But they all collectively said, please come back and visit.
For sure.
And she promised that she would. So I will make that happen for sure. All right, we're going to take another break. As I said, if you have any questions now or if you watch this later, because I know a lot of you maybe have to rush off to work, you can send a message in to us later and then do a little hashtag replay. I'll make sure that Alisa and the staff get a chance to see that. We're going to give you the information of how you can find them, how you can take that tour. And as I mentioned, I think we're going to hit this very hard several times, the importance of doing that early. Okay, we're talking about Garden View Care Centers, and we'll have more when we return. Am I healing the Parkinson's? But I am helping it subside. I'm helping him feel better.
Oh, definitely.
Not only in the moment, but sometimes for the next day or maybe even a couple days. And that's why he keeps coming back. If it didn't feel good, you wouldn't come back.
Yeah, I
And
look
she
forward
said
to
he
it.
won't have tremors when he's on the table. And I don't know why that happens, but she'll tell me he doesn't tremor when he's on the table. So for whatever release is in his body for that period of time, it's been very beneficial.
So you just find yourself being able to calm and be in the
Exactly,
moment?
I'm more relaxed and calm.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. So the care that you're looking for, and we're talking about your parents or we're talking about grandparents or loved ones, but I'm also looking at you, right? So this is the fact that you're planning ahead, and that's what we've been mentioning. Alisa Santangelo, my guest from the Dougherty Ferry location of Garden View Care Center. So I see comments coming in, a lot of you just saying good morning. One just said, Alisa, which is a shout out to you. Is this a friend of yours?
This is a former colleague.
Former colleague?
Yep.
At Gardenview?
At another
facility.
Yep.
Alisa, what are you doing on Monica's show this morning? It's that kind of thing, right? Oh, hang on, calm down. So, yes, I saw Babs said, good morning, important topic and information. Right. So, Babs is in that same mindset of, at home right now, but when does it get to a point where maybe that independence has to be turned over to somebody else? That's a tough decision, isn't it?
Absolutely. Never too early, like you said, to come just take a look. We do always have people come to tour. I don't need it right now, but just in case.
Well, right, because as many of us, and I don't know if you don't know that, but you can't just get in a lot of times right away. You have to be on a list. And for sometimes people say, oh my gosh, I had to put my loved one on a list for a year and a half plus. It is that possibility.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, right now our private pay, rooms, we are on a list and then for Medicaid, that's a whole nother, list in itself. But we always want to take people that we can accommodate. And so getting in early and getting to know them is going to bump you up on that list.
No,
right?
absolutely. And that was the thing. What is it called? So when they're in the hospital, it's like something bed that's available for those.
A rehab bed.
A rehab bed. So that's what it was for Mom, right? And a list was given by a social worker to us. And you are right now in a scared situation of, oh my gosh, Mom broke her femur in 4 places. What's happening? She has a surgery going on. And then all of a sudden, all this paperwork's being handed to you. Here we go. Choose a place.
Right.
That choice that you're making is very important. Where are you sending that loved one? Whether it is for 2-3 weeks or a couple of months, or maybe it ends up being that's where they end up staying.
Yeah,
and
it can be scary, overwhelming.
It is. Well, and what we were told at the time was, here are reviews from, Medicare. Well, that's one thing. I went and did the review even deeper to say, well, what's Google reviews?
Right.
That's from families.
Right.
And that's where you were rating at like 4.8, 4.9. Same thing on Medicare. So it mirrored each other. That's when we were like, we want to put that one. And was hoping, but you don't know because we don't know if there was a bed available to it.
You know, if the bed's available and you haven't put eyes on it yet.
Correct. And that's what it was. It was like, we had no time to do a walkthrough. It was just like, oh my gosh, I hope this is great. And it was. We got lucky. I do want to acknowledge, because I've known her for a long, long time, and I was going to mention it in today's show. Sue Hockensmith said good morning. So Sue, and you all, we were mentioning earlier about kind of working hand in hand. Tell me what you do with Lakeview.
Lakeview, the Lakeside.
Oh, sorry, Lakeside.
Yeah.
Lakeside. Sorry, Lakeside.
The Lakeside Daycare. They come over several times a month, and the kids will come over, and we just get a big group of residents together. They might sing songs, they might color together. Halloween's my favorite because they all come over in their costumes and they do a whole trick-or-treating parade throughout the facility. And seeing the residents' faces, like the intergenerational concept is so beautiful. Seeing the residents' faces when you have a little, 3-year-old bringing you a picture, look what I made for you.
Right.
They just light up.
Yes.
And it's very special.
Okay, and I've known them for a long, long time. I actually used to be the development director for Ponybird, which the Hockensmiths are behind. And I've had a chance to go over and see that. Yes, Lakeside.
Yes.
So putting the younger generation together with an older generation is imperative.
Definitely.
Right? So they shouldn't be scared, because many times I think that's it. If they're not around people who are older, it becomes very scary to them. And they're like, I don't know how to interact with them. I love the intergenerational.
It's beneficial to both sides.
I was just going to say, we can both learn so much from each other. I do want to acknowledge also, and I was telling Alisa when we went into break, and she was like, oh, that's cool. So we have a gentleman that about 2 weeks ago, I think, started watching. His name is Shane, and he's watching us from Dublin, Ireland.
Amazing.
Right? So shout out, I see you. He said, truly a credit to the community. It absolutely is. Kyle, I see you. I promise you I will wear a hat tomorrow getting ready for Derby Day. Are you doing anything for Derby Day, by the way?
We do have a Derby party that we're going to be planning. Yep.
The big hats?
Big hats, some
getting
mint
dressed
juleps. Oh yeah, all the whole 9 yards.
See, and that's what I love, is that they're not missing out on what we're all doing outside of the facility.
Definitely.
Right? They want to be involved in that.
Sure.
So from that coming up, now my team, Zach Kimball, went yesterday and took some incredible footage. I understand, and you're going to be seeing this play out, hopefully I'm hoping by next week. Do I understand that you all did a TikTok?
We did. It was the highlight of the day. The staff were so excited. We had, CNAs, nurses, activities. Even our CEO got in it.
Really?
A lot of dancing. We had some residents shaking their hips, and that was like the most fun part of yesterday. We had a blast.
Okay, and that going into the fact that we're blending generations, as we all know, TikTok is very big with the younger generation, but then you're seeing all generations on TikTok, and people are like, my grandma's funny, my grandpa's funny. Let's put them on together.
Right.
So this was actually a trending thing that I saw right around Christmas time, but it's continued into 2026. So when you ask the residents and the faculty to do this, do they jump right away, or do they like,
They jumped right away. A lot of the staff were like chomping at the bit. When are you doing the TikTok? When are you doing the TikTok? And some of the staff that are a little bit more reserved even got involved in the TikTok, which was great to see. And then the residents, explaining we're going to do a TikTok.
Like, what is that?
Well, we're like,
do you have a TikTok for me?
Yeah, show us your best dance moves. And then they really got into it. Yep.
Because you mentioned earlier, they really do love music. We think about the generation that they all grew up with. And also the fact that you're going to have a derby party. Many of them are still very big into dressing up. I know some that I trained, and it was so cute because they would go into the dining room and dress up, where I hope you all see this. It's important to understand that leadership that they're showing to us, showing up for themselves. They could just go straight from their rooms and just be in like pajamas or whatever. Nope. They're getting dressed up to go down to dinner.
I have a few residents that won't leave their room without their face on, as they say.
I love
or
that.
Or somebody, has to put their lipstick on before they go to the dining room. And good for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then there were some gentlemen that were like, I have my vest on, I have a jacket on, I'm going to dinner.
Right.
They enjoy that. So we talked about kids and the intergenerational aspect. Talk about the impact of what animals do, because I know at the one in Chesterfield, there were days that there were dogs that were showing up. Do you do that at Dougherty Ferry also?
So a lot of the hospice companies do have pet therapy, but we are actually, again, blessed. One of our office ladies, Emily, brings her dog Sage, and the residents love her. She has been coming since she was a puppy, so she really knows the facility like the back of her paw. And the residents come up and give her treats, and we'll throw the ball for her, and she lights up their day.
What kind of dog is it?
She's like a border collie.
Yes.
Mix.
The
Australian
labs,
Shepherd. Yeah.
Those are all, they're so good with everyone, but that's what you're looking for. But yeah, so when I was looking, again, as the daughter of someone that was there, I was looking at the list and I'm like, oh, I bet you this is a dog. This has to be a dog. And my mom's like, you think? And I said, yes, go and see the dog and interact. Because if they're a little down, and as we said, maybe they're not feeling their best, that is what suddenly brings them out of the doldrums that they're feeling. Kids and animals.
Yep. Another nurse has brought her dog in, and he's a lot smaller, but just having the dog sit on our resident's lap for 5 minutes, like, it totally turns their day around.
It changes. It's the energy that they're bringing. We need to learn from that, by the way. So let's get into, before we wrap up, into this last part. When the family members are, whether again it is long-term or whether it's a short-term, aspect that they're healing to maybe go into somebody else's care, what do you recommend for those family members? Because I could have learned a lot from this. I mean, it was so quick for us, but I was in the mindset of, I need to be there for mom, like nonstop. And you can ask them, I was there morning, afternoon, evening, all the way up to, I got to go home. We're going to repeat this.
Yeah.
That's not what we should be doing, right?
Right. I always tell people, and even my own mom, you got to be her daughter, not her caregiver. You want to be there to be her daughter.
Yeah.
Of course you want to take care of her because she's taken care of you your whole life. But I think trusting the facility shows your mom too, or your loved one too, well, if my daughter trusts me to be here, then it's going to be okay.
That's true.
But getting educated and touring and calling the leadership folks or the management folks of the facility and telling them your story and getting to know them and just creating the trust, because that's the most important thing.
Because, and I stressed this to Marianne, I said, please do not mistake the fact that I was there, my sister-in-law, my brother, my other brother. Don't mistake us not thinking that you couldn't take care of her. It was just all so new, and it is, right? Yeah. This is all something that we didn't expect. If you are blessed to have your parent being very active, very independent, and then all of a sudden a fall happens.
Right.
And we see that all too often, and we swear our parents are going to be the one that doesn't happen to. And then it does, and then it is, unfortunately, it ages them very quick because now they're depressed.
Right.
And we've got the energy, though, that Garden View provides, tries to keep them out of that. You are really, truly doing the triangle of life theory that I have, which is taking care of their mind, their body, their spirit.
Definitely. It is scary coming from the hospital. Obviously, you fall, that's traumatic. You go to the hospital, you got people poking and prodding you, and then you go to another new place with new staff. Usually it's in the evening. Some people don't have the family that's going to be there very, very, very frequently.
Right.
And so they're just alone in this new place with new staff. So we always want to kind of take them under our wing, reassure them, let them know how things work at Garden View so they're not just going in totally blind.
Right. And I mentioned at the beginning, Alisa, and I want to kind of bookend our show today. Can you talk about empathy? Because that screams Garden View of walking in that door, seeing the fear on someone's face, on the family. Sometimes, like for our particular circumstance, it was late in the evening, leaving the hospital. I don't think we even got there till 9 o'clock.
Right.
So you're not even walking the halls. It's all dark. People are
Right.
sleeping or almost getting ready to go to bed, and there's a lot of fear. So you're trying to transfer. You see that though. We got an email, phone calls from Marianne long before we were getting ready to come in to know everything's ready for you. This person will meet you by tomorrow morning. This is what will happen. It was all very organized, which is what you're looking for. Otherwise, you do feel lost.
Sure.
So can you go into the empathy side? Because again, you see all that happening and playing out on us.
Right. It's kind of second nature to us, trying to relate to the families and reassure them, walking them through our processes, letting them know who to go to for what, letting them know when your therapy is going to start, this is when your meals are, and just making sure that they feel okay and that there is, again, a level of trust. I know a lot of our staff have said, these residents are my grandparents. I just had a staff member that just lost her grandma, and she's like, why am I going to call in and stay home? What am I going to do? I'm going to come because I have 80 grandma and grandpas here.
Oh, I love that.
Definitely, yeah.
It is, I do believe you're blessed. My sister-in-law, like you, getting introduced when she was in high school, and she's like, Monica, there's truly something about that generation that you just want to just be around. First of all, they have so much to teach us because they are truly one of the most incredible generations of the hard work, the stories that they have to tell, what they went through. Right? It's all those things. I got to get back to the show that we did that was a series that I wanted to start, which was called Generational Talk. And I've talked to your team about, well, maybe that's what we should do.
I love it.
Right? Let's bring people over. The reason we do that is respect. We all have to have respect for each other. So the younger generation, I don't care if now it's what, Gen Alpha, then Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, Boomers, and on. Every single one of us needs to pull something from the other one to say, oh, that's what you mean, or that's what you've gone through. But I love how you were like, we're going to do a TikTok, and okay, we're just going to trust you. We don't know what that is, but okay, let's do it
we'll
together.
Dance, yeah.
All right, so I encourage you to take a tour. Here's the locations. There are 3. Lisa, again, is at the one in Dougherty Ferry area. If you want to think that that's the best one for you, Dougherty Ferry, as well as Chesterfield and O'Fallon. O'Fallon is at 700 Garden Path in O'Fallon, Missouri, by the way. Dougherty Ferry is 13612 Big Bend Road in Valley Park. And then Chesterfield is 1025 Chesterfield Point Parkway in Chesterfield, Missouri. As Alisa said, again, except for the layouts, they all have that same incredible care. Yeah, you can go online to gardenviewcare.com, and I also encourage you to pay attention to their social media because you'll see more and more being very interactive on Instagram, Facebook, now TikTok, and doing some TikTok challenges. Looking forward to that. Let me get to some questions. Oh, let's see. That's Amore 1192 says Alisa is the best.
That is probably my dad.
Hi, Dad.
I don't know. It might be.
He's on YouTube right now.
It might be. Yeah, that might be him.
Can
I'm
you
not
see the
sure.
picture? Is that your dad?
That's definitely my dad. Hey, Dad.
Janet said, how old are a lot of the people that are in there and how young are they also?
Great question. I would say our average age is probably upper 70s.
Okay.
We do have somebody turning 102 in a couple of
how
weeks,
cool is
which
that?
is awesome. We're gonna have a big celebration for her.
Of course.
And then we do have some folks in their like mid 60s.
Okay. And Aunt Alisa, we love you. That's from, is it Kate Lee?
Katie, that's my sister-in-law.
Katie Lee Santangelo watching on YouTube. I love it. By the way, yes, there are multiple platforms that we're on. So a lot of you might watch on Facebook. YouTube, by the way, is the platform where all of the shows are. And if you want to go into the library of shows from 800 of them that we've done over the last 3.5 years, that's your best bet. Just hit subscribe so you get notified when we go live. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, also Rumble and Twitch. And then, of course, you can follow us on therealmonicaadams.com. We have a lot that we're going to be doing for you with Garden View over the coming weeks. I just mentioned coming up during National Nurses Week. There's so much you have planned that week.
Definitely.
And again, we can't ever say thank you enough to the nurses, the CNAs. You want to gush on them?
Yeah, it's going to be a big week of celebration and just showing them appreciation for all that they do every single day. They have a very, very difficult job, but they are the eyes and ears for us. Yep. They're with the residents front line, all the time. They know the residents better than anybody. So getting to show them appreciation all the time, but especially during National Nursing Home Week, we have a lot of fun stuff planned. Our theme this year is Moments in Bloom. So we're going to be doing a lot of outdoor activities, gardening, rock painting, and we have a lot of cool gifts to give them too.
Yeah, and we're going to be there, by the way. Yeah, let's just thank them. I cannot say it enough. They have a very demanding job.
Definitely.
And it's hard because as a family member, you're like, something's wrong with mom. Can you get to her right away? It's like they have so many to take care of, and you don't know the level of trauma that they're taking care of someone else. So there's a lot of patience that needs to take place.
Definitely. Across all, everybody. But that's something that we look for in our employees, to have patience and empathy and compassion, because if you don't have those qualities, it's probably not the job for you.
Absolutely. You need that. And that was the thing I was saying earlier, is that when you do feel the connection, that's a calling. And that's in your heart of, I can't wait to be a part of this. And there are many levels. But are you hiring, by the way, for anything?
Yeah, of course. We are looking for some dedicated day shift CNAs right now.
Okay.
And then we are looking for a dedicated evening shift nurse.
Okay. And so if they are interested, what's the best way?
You can reach out to me via phone or email. All of our job postings are also on Indeed.
On Indeed? Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, there are multiple opportunities for you to get involved. If you want to go to the Dougherty Ferry location, again, the administrator for Dougherty Ferry, Alisa Santangelo. There are 3 locations, though. You find the one that makes the most sense for you. So at the end of the show, Alisa, we always read from one of our 100 Days to Freedom books, okay? So I'm going to let you choose.
Okay.
Do you feel that the audience needs to hear 100 Days to Freedom from shame, anger, depression, fear and anxiety, or 100 Days of Healing?
Let's go healing.
Healing. That's the new book that we added just about a month ago, and that is the one that we see chosen a lot. All right, when we come back from the break, we will do that, and then we'll also let you know what's coming up tomorrow. We've got a fun show for you. A lot of great things coming up into next week as well. So don't go anywhere.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the awe in spa.
Welcome back. I hope you heard in this last hour, again, the culture of Garden View. They truly care, the empathy, the level of activities. Again, keeping your loved ones busy, mind, body, and soul. And again, the importance of taking that tour, getting in early and, not waiting to the last second and then trying to scramble. So again, they care for you, and I'm putting my name behind them. I said this was absolutely amazing what I experienced with my own mom. She's doing fabulous, by the way. I know a lot of you keep asking me. Healing, that is what we're talking about today, 100 Days of Healing. This is Our Great Hope, day 17. Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. That's Job 13, verse 15. In April 2008, 24-year-old Catherine Wolfe was a happy new mom with a law student husband. She modeled for extra money, took joy in her family, church community, and her relationship with God. And then one fateful afternoon, a brainstem stroke left her on life support for 40 days. She spent the next 2 years in rehab, underwent numerous surgeries for various issues. It's eerie that Alisa picked this one because, again, we're talking about care and the fact that every second we never know what's going to happen in our lives. Today, although Catherine walks with a limp, speaks with a slur, and is on permanent disability, she and her husband, Jay, travel the world ministering together. Miraculously, the couple was able to have another child, and though the stroke impacted them financially, physically and emotionally, they have determined to let God use their story of healing and hope for his glory. In the Wolf's book, it's called Hope Heals, a true story of overwhelming loss and an overcoming love. Jay wrote this, quote, "Yet no matter the origin of the suffering, God's presence remains the same. He finds us in our hurts if we want to be found. His power to filter the worst that life has to offer with goodness remaining is our great hope. The next time you're tempted to feel hopeless, look for the presence of God in your life and cling to God's words of hope." Pretty amazing. Today's prayer: Jesus, thank you for finding me in my hurts. My heart hopes in you, for you alone have the power to turn my situation around and then use it for your glory. Yeah, when things like that happen, and it's devastating, but then if we completely turn away, don't you feel even more lost if you don't have faith? I would think so. All right, folks, tomorrow, can you believe it? May 1st. And we have Dot Fleshman on from Coldwell Baker Gundaker. She's our realtor. So I know a lot of you love her. She's been on with us for the last year as one of our many sponsors. We are going to talk real estate tomorrow and then also into our Friendship Friday. But then stay around because we are featuring Oak & Front in Washington, Missouri as our Foodie Friday. And then guess what? We're going to be there next week. There are some of you that are like, hey, I can't wait to come. A lot of the wine club members, it's your big night on May 5th, which I know a lot of you are like, isn't that Cinco de Mayo? It is. But I would like for you to go to Oak & Front in Washington. I'm hoping for beautiful weather so you can sit out on the patio, overlook the river and the train tracks right there. It's a really cool setting. If you haven't been to Washington, Missouri, you are missing out for sure. Next week, Monday, by the way, Jenny Gabriel is back with us. And again, some exciting shows to come up that we've been taping as well. One of them we did yesterday, Lacey Jean Mobile Cigar Lounge. Yes, a mobile cigar lounge. Tell your, I keep saying men, but tell the men and women in your life that love to be around that cigar smoke, or maybe they are cigar smokers, or they're interested in it. This is a mobile cigar lounge for bachelor parties, for weddings, for anniversaries, for corporate events, and they were involved with one at Union Station yesterday. So we went and shot that. Can't wait for you to see that. We'll also be talking with a country music artist. She grew up in St. Louis, but now she's in Nashville, and her name is Jenna Kay. She's actually performing for us up at the club, and we're going to shoot a really cool interview with her as well. So I always ask you if there are guests or ideas that you would like for us to have on the show. If so, shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. If you'd like for us to take the show on the road like we are next week, Tuesday, or the following Monday, we'll be at Barrel House, which is in Baldwin. We just had Stephen and Denise Henschel on talking about their backstory. Then we're going to go and make our own blend, barrelhousestl.com. Follow them as well. We'll be there on May 11th. Where would we go next? Well, that's up to you. Shoot me a message, and if we pick a place that you've turned me on to, I'm giving you $100. Come on, let's get everybody working for us. $100 to you if they become a sponsor or they are a part of our Mobile Monica. And it doesn't have to just be in our area. So I know we've got Dublin, Ireland watching us. How about you find out and some businesses that would like for us to come there? Make it happen. Let's go to Ireland. I think Zach and I would enjoy that. We can go anywhere in the world. We're taking the show international, and you're a part of it. Thank you, by the way, for that. Remember, folks, it's the kindness that we show to each other, that inspiration and motivation that we provide in the morning. Don't you want to wake up to positivity? I would think so, and that's why we provide it. God bless you all, and remember to be kind.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.